Good morning. My name is Paul Dalzell. I am the worship coordinator of the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Charleston. Welcome, all of you, our members, our friends. If this is your first time here, we welcome you and thank you for joining us today. You came here looking for something this morning. It might have been a connection with others, a community, a place to ground yourself, or refuge from a world gone mad. Whatever brought you here, we are glad it did. Unitarian Universalism is non-creedal, deliberately pluralist, and unambiguously and unapologetically progressive. The strength of our congregation is our plurality. You may be sitting beside someone who is an atheist, a pagan, a Christian, or Jewish, an agnostic, or Buddhist, a Muslim, a humanist, or someone who doesn't fit into any of those religious categories. They may also be cisgender, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender or trans, queer or questioning, intersex, asexual, or agender, or none of those categories either. All of us want to do good and to be better. As the Zen Buddhists say, each of you is perfect just the way you are, and you can use a little improvement. When we gather to worship in this place, with all of our differences, we shape what is of worth to us. To gather in community, to sit together, to sing together, to listen, and to find peace. What you will find here is a community of people, all different, yet all united in the shared values of justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity, all with love at the center. Please know that all of us welcome you. And we typically do that in song. Please join us in singing our welcome song. We sing it twice, and if you feel comfortable doing so, greet those around you with a smile or a nod or a hello. The words are in your order of service and will be on the screens.
Whoever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you. Whoever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you.
Please check your insert for goings-on here at UUC this coming week and in the near future. For our chalice lighting this morning, we have Where the Streets Are Holy by Craig Rowland. Please read it with me as Phoenix lights our chalice. It is today on the back of the announcement sheet. We light this chalice for the sacred that walks unshod through alleyways, that leans against brick walls with smoke on its breath, that hums in neon flicker and bus exhaust. This flame burns for the holiness found in dirty hands, in cracked voices, in those moments of sudden stillness between sirens and footsteps. Not every sanctuary has walls. Some are made of shadow and asphalt. Some are stitched together from longing, kindness, and sheer survival. We light this flame to remember divinity does not always wear white. Sometimes it wears denim. Sometimes it looks like a stranger holding the door just a moment longer. It burns to show us what is real. Our first song for all is There Is More Love Somewhere. Please rise in voice, body, and spirit as you are willing and able. The lyrics will be on the screens.
There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more hope somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more joy somewhere.
Please be seated. We come to this sanctuary, whether in person or virtually, to connect with our community, sharing our joys and our celebrations, our sorrows and our concerns, our peace and our needs, helps our community become closer and stronger. And that is the community we all need in these times. We have several in the book. May 15th was Jamie and Jonathan's 16th wedding anniversary. I think that's around. Today is Brian's birthday. Happy birthday, Brian. The 21st is going to be Tarot Day at UUC at 7 p.m. And not listed who, but someone had a great visit with an out-of-town friend, Suzanne, at Taylor's for coffee and a downtown walkabout. Also, great joy, Maria got to go to an NA convention up in Ripley. It took a village of effort. That's a wonderful thing. Also, Lisa, in the sorrows and concerns side, Lisa Craddock was in a car wreck yesterday. She, her daughter Emily, and granddaughter Aria are all at CAMC General. They are in recovery, but Lisa's car never will. And Kaleidoscope Collective will be looking for volunteers to help run the Pride booth this year. If interested, message the group on Facebook or let Billy, Casey, or Brian know. And Carol wanted to make it to today's service, but is not feeling well. She is not feeling like she could. I'm sorry. For all these joys and sorrows, both spoken and unspoken, may we remember, shared joy is multiplied and shared sadness is diminished. Please read with me, if you would, in unison, Our Covenant by James Vila Blake. Love is the spirit of our faith, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Let's take a moment to sit and breathe, to meditate, to ponder, to pray if you wish, but most of all, to sit with one another here in community. Please relax in your chairs. Plant your feet on the floor. Square your shoulders. Feel free to close your eyes or unfocus them or gaze into our chalice flame. Breathe. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Settle into this moment, this space. Our meditation today is Our Roots of Resilience by Kimberly Ann Tomchok Carlson. Feel the gravity of the earth holding you in place. Wiggle your toes as if they were roots. Roots connect you to the earth, lending you strength. Gently sway in the wind, turning your body like the trunk of a tree. Leaning this way and that, bending as the air pushes and pulls. What surrounds you may sway you, make you bend and feel unbalanced. Wiggle your toes. Know that your roots can hold you as you grow and learn. A tree is nourished by the soil and water. You are nourished by the food the earth grows and the water it provides. You are cared for and loved by many people. Breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. Still yourself. Know that your roots are strong. Wiggle your roots. Now I'd like to invite Heather back up as she delivers our core message.
Good morning. Again.
Heather, he wanted me to introduce you
Okay,
before.
go ahead.
I'm going to brag on my sister a little unabashedly. She's a mother of two. Her husband is Gullah-Geechee, if anybody knows what that is, down in South Carolina. It's a group of African Americans who were slaves, and they were put out on the barrier islands. She has worked in grocery stores for many years, and now you've been at the Lowcountry Food Bank for 6 years.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
She worked full-time and managed to get a bachelor's degree in her MBA. She's, look at her, she doesn't like to take praise. But she's a wonderful person, and she cares about others. She also volunteers in a prison ministry for the state of North Carolina, where they go in and do activities to reduce recidivism. And your job at the food bank is you're the director of the Northern Region?
Yeah, Northern Region Food Center.
And the woman that made Heather and I the same, both, is the woman right here, Debbie Edwards. Her. She's the one who taught us our values. She and our father were both generous, kind people. So, and I give you Heather, my sister that I love dearly.
So, good morning, and thank you all so much for indulging my brother's illusion that his sister has something important to say. And I will apologize to you up front and tell you that what I know I'm going to lack in eloquence, I will absolutely try to make up for in passion for mission, and in passion for what I believe is my calling. As he said, I'm the manager or the director of our Northern Region Food Center. Lowcountry Food Bank serves the entire coast of South Carolina. We've got state line to state line, all along the coast in a couple of inland counties. I manage the one in Myrtle Beach. And for those of you who have most likely, I'm sure there's people in this room who have traveled to Myrtle Beach, you may be very surprised that the county in which Myrtle Beach is located is the highest food insecurity rate in the state of South Carolina. A couple of factors that go on for that. Geographically, it's the largest county in the state, and the growing population. Myrtle Beach proper, all the schools that are in Myrtle Beach proper are all Title I schools, which meaning very, very high poverty rate, very transient area. There's a lot of people moving in, moving out, and the majority of the jobs in that area are service-oriented jobs that pay little to nothing. And because of all the retirees that are continuously moving to Myrtle Beach, we've kind of priced those people out of the housing market. People who were born and raised in that area will never be able to own a home, and they can barely rent a home at this point. It used to be an affordable place to live, and it's become a place that's really just not. We've got in Horry County about 55,000 food insecure people. So I want to talk to you about West Virginia, which this kind of forced me to do a little bit of research into my home state. And I will tell you, when I'm normally asked to do speaking engagements, I really try to make sure that I put a positive spin on this. The food bank for which I work, we're very well resourced, so we've got food available. But I have to tell you what I found in researching West Virginia, the availability is very low. Very, very high food insecurity. So for West Virginia, overall in the United States, it's 13.7% of households that live in food insecurity. West Virginia is above that national rate. There's over 277,000 individuals in West Virginia that are food insecure. So 16.3% of the population. Seventh highest food insecurity rate for senior citizens in the United States at 11.5% of senior citizens, and 71,000 plus children that are food insecure. 1 in 5 children in the state are food insecure. So 16.7, you can change to the next slide. 16.7% poverty rate, so these are the contributing factors to poverty and food insecurity in West Virginia. National average is 11.1%, so that's quite a bit higher than what the national average is. And the income disparity, West Virginia is $13,000 below the median national income, and the rising housing costs are contributing to that. So 21% in housing costs increase since 2020. And I think that probably overall as a whole, the United States has experienced that. But I believe in states where the coal industry has rapidly declined, there's just not a whole lot of options for people here for other industries. So I will tell you, I'm going to go through how food banks are currently serving, and then at the end, and if any time through the presentation, if you have a question, just stop me and ask me if I say something that you have a question about, or even that I'm wrong about. Please feel free to say that. You can go ahead and go to the next slide. So there are 2 food banks in West Virginia. Mountaineer Food Bank, which is in Gasaway, I think that's how you say it, kind of in the middle of the state. What they're doing is impressive. I looked at the amount of food that they're serving. What they're doing is impressive. Tried to reach out to them to talk to somebody there, didn't really get a response. I made a few phone calls, but I will say I don't sit at my desk often. So I don't sit at my desk often. We don't really have a whole lot of time to sit at our desks in food banking. So I'm not surprised that I didn't get a return phone call. But just going based off of, yes.
I will add that Caitlin Cook, who is currently on the city council, works for the Mountaineer Food Bank. And I'm embarrassed I didn't ask her to tell us about food insecurity. But anyways, so you all know how to reach out to her.
Can I?
Just reiterate the question for the people online because they didn't actually get the question.
Oh, okay, understood. So next slide. So for 2024, for Mountaineer Food Bank, they have 420 partner agencies. So I will tell you how food banks serve. We are a warehouse. We're a warehouse. We look like a warehouse. We operate like a warehouse. And the way that we serve is through partner agencies. About 80% of partner agencies are faith-based organizations. So all of your church pantries, things like that, that's what we would consider a partner agency. Mountaineer Food Bank is a Feeding America network food bank. The distinction for that is you want to be under that Feeding America umbrella because Feeding America provides a lot of funding. There's a lot of grant money available, but that also gets you that USDA funding. And we're going to talk in depth about USDA later on in the presentation, but it's very important to have that Feeding America network umbrella over all of your partner agencies, because it not only ensures that you're getting the additional funding, but the food banks, part of what we do for the partner agencies is we train the partner agencies. We provide food safety training, we provide civil rights training, and civil rights training is probably the biggest component to the USDA food program that a partner agency has to comply with. The prayer is not allowed to be, it can't be deemed to be conditional, because look at where we are right now. You know, we have to acknowledge that there's hundreds of different religions and people share many different beliefs. So we can't make it look like it is conditional to believe what that faith-based organization believes in order to receive food. So that's the major part of training that we do, but food safety also. We don't want to make anybody sick, so we go through all of that food safety training. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes work that goes into training a partner agency. Mountaineer Food Bank did over 200 mobile pantries last year. That's a really big deal cost-wise. A small mobile pantry costs about $2,500. A larger mobile pantry is about $5,500 to $6,000. And I'm just guessing, but the terrain of West Virginia makes everything much more difficult. The rural locations, those are places where a mobile pantry would go. And that's where they're not serving through a partner agency. They're taking one of their trucks out, and they're paying for the food. They're supporting that with staff, and they're managing the traffic. And then they do food for health, 30-plus food for health distributions, which that is also a part of USDA, the USDA program. And one thing I was really impressed with was extra mile home deliveries. I would love to be able to offer home deliveries out of my food bank, and that's not something that we do, so that's really impressive. They're able to get food to people who have no ability to have transportation. So their impact for 2025, they distributed 23.3 million pounds of food. The significance of weight in a food bank, we measure our success based off of pounds in food banking. So a meal is 1.2 pounds. So the next statistic I have over there is 19.4 million meals served.
Besides the meals when we live here in Kanawha County that take people food at home, there is a social agency, I'm trying to think what it's called, but if you qualify, they will deliver meals 4 times a week to your home. I do have the name of the agency, it's a privately run organization.
Okay.
So you may use that.
So there's a place in Kanawha County that offers meal delivery, and what was your name?
My name's Roger,
Roger?
but Meals on Wheels, everybody knows that.
Yes.
But then there's also another agency, I get it because I can also grow.
Okay.
But it's free, and they deliver 4 times.
Okay.
So,
Is it prepared food or pantry type food?
they bring you a meal, I've got the name of the agency, I don't want to interrupt this presentation.
No, you're fine.
In my contract, it's actually give you the name, I'll find it and I'll say it, because we got Meals on Wheels and that. Sorry for interrupting everybody.
No, thank you very much for the information.
Well, my God, because I came late, and like you said, what's that? Well, and if you don't have to believe in God, whatever. So, I'm sorry for interjecting.
No, when you have that name, just let me know and I'll share it so it can be online.
Kanawha Valley Senior Service,
Kanawha Valley Senior Service provides meal delivery. Okay.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.
So Mountaineer Food Bank also served 1.5 million meals through the CSFP program, also a USDA program that stands for Commodity Supplemental Food Program, which provides to senior citizens, and this is income-based. You have to be over 60, but the USDA food income limits are fairly high for one person. It's about $1,700 for an individual, and it goes up $972 for each additional family member. So the USDA food income limits are pretty high. Then 345,000 meals served to children and seniors, which are the highest food insecure rates. Yes.
Does that 345,000 include the USDA participation through schools and after-school care centers,
Yes.
et cetera?
Yes, it is specific to those programs, which I'll discuss some of those, like the childhood hunger programs and everything that are run through the USDA a little bit later in where food is sourced from. You can move to the next slide. So one thing about food banks and how we set our goals. We look at meals per person in need. So a food bank intends to supplement about 20% of a food insecure individual's needs per year. So do that math, 3 meals a day, 365 days, so we're at about 1,100 meals. So most food bank goals are to serve between 180 to 200 meals per person in need annually. Last year, Mountaineer Food Bank was only at 69 meals per person in need. So that's kind of the alarming statistic for me to see. And I cannot speculate about why, but I can tell you that USDA food sourcing is distributed based off the population of the state. It's just distributed by that. One thing that I did not see about Mountaineer Food Bank was whether they have a retail rescue food program in place, which is a very large portion of food that is available. So they're right now approximately 100 meals lower than sort of what the Feeding America standard. Sure. Yeah. And I will say Kanawha County in particular has the highest number of partner agencies that Mountaineer Food Bank services. There are 38 partner agencies in Kanawha County. Thank you. And they're serving, Kanawha County has 27,000 food insecure people. That's what the food insecure population is in Kanawha County. So we want to go to the next slide. So there is one other food bank that serves West Virginia. It serves, Mountaineer Food Bank serves 48 counties. Then there is the Facing Hunger Food Bank, which serves the other 7 counties. And for me, I had to go looking for this. It was kind of hard to find. But we're from Logan County. And I wanted to see who was serving that area. And Logan County in particular had the number 5 highest childhood hunger food insecurity rate in the state. So I was really concerned when I couldn't find a food bank that was serving that area. But their impact for last year, if you go to the next slide, was 10 million pounds. Now they're in Huntington. Looks like they just purchased a new building that was 55,000 square feet, but they also serve Ohio. So it was really hard for me there were no statistics that divided Ohio and West Virginia, so I can't really tell you what they're doing in West Virginia right now. But they did serve 8.9 million meals last year, 61,000 meals through the CSFP program, the USDA program. And they did mention a retail rescue program. And retail rescue is where either the food bank directly or one of the partner agencies goes to our major retailers and picks up their out-of-date meat, their out-of-date bakery, their sort of off-quality produce, things like that. So they pick that stuff up and it goes right back into the community. So that's accomplishing 2 things. It's feeding our community, and it's also keeping that stuff from going into the trash.
Is there an incentive for the retailer, like tax benefits?
Absolutely. And the incentive for the retailer is tax benefits. We run everything through an invoicing system just as any other warehouse would. So I can provide the retailers that we pick up from every day, I can show how many pounds that they donated. And all of the food banks that are Feeding America food banks, we use the same invoicing system. So I know that would be the same in this area as well. So next slide, I want to talk about where the food comes from. So obviously, general fundraising, every food bank has a development department, donor services coordinators, things like that. So they're sourcing money through just general fundraising year-round. Private donors, and one thing that I've learned in managing a food bank is there are a lot of incredibly generous people in this world. You know, so you can balance the bad with the good and know that there are so many people who are willing to help. During November of this past year, when the government shutdown created the issue with SNAP benefits, our food bank in particular received about $900,000 in donations just in that time frame, and my entire day was spent just going to the door. People were just going to the grocery store and buying food and bringing it directly to us. So even though sometimes the situation looks a little bit grim, you can always see the positive in that there are so many people in the communities that do care and have resources and want to help people. Then we have a lot of private donors. And one thing I will say, if you would like to donate to a food bank, into any 501c3 charity, I would always target your gift.
I have a question about cash donations to the food bank.
Yes.
Is your buying power to purchase food, I've always felt that your buying
Yes.
power is better than my buying power going to the retail, buying a bag of something and donating it. So I'd rather send you a check because you can expand my cash donation. Can you tell us what that ratio is?
Yes, that is accurate. We can make your dollar go farther than you could. We can provide about 5 meals for $1 through donations and everything. So we source just like any retailer would source as well. I think there is a stigma about food banking where people think that you're getting, you know, off-quality foods, things like that, but that is not accurate. I have an entire section in my warehouse that's all new, unopened, case-lotted foods that our partner agencies have access to. And there is a fee to the partner agencies for that stuff, but it's going to be a whole lot less than if they would go to Costco or Sam's Club or to BJ's. So yes, that is accurate. Our buying power is stronger than yours. So grants, there is also a huge portion of grants available. So we have an excellent great grant writer at Lowcountry Food Bank who I can just, if I hear of anything, I can send it to her and she'll say, okay, we got this grant, what do you want to do with it? But grants are often targeted. They're to buy specific things, some very specific things. It might be to purchase milk, it might be to purchase produce, and it also might be in a very specific area. You know, it might only cover certain counties. But it's important to have a good grant writer because there's so much money that comes through that and from that. And then the retail rescue program, we talked about that briefly. So the food bank I work for, we distributed 43 million pounds of food last year. And of that 43 million pounds that we distributed last year, 16 million of that was retail rescue. We have a fleet of about 19 trucks. I have 6 that stay in Myrtle Beach all the time. And the first part of my driver's day, every day, probably till about 11 or 12 o'clock, is going out and hitting all the retailers. Thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds, literally every day. That stuff it's excellent stuff. We just started a partnership with Amazon, which has been amazing because we have a new Amazon warehouse in the Myrtle Beach area. Just excellent stuff that's coming from them that most of the people in our community would not have access to. And like I said, it's also keeping that from going in the dumpster. Then USDA, huge food source. We can go to the next slide because we talked about retail rescue. I'm sorry, I should have changed slides. But USDA food resources. We can go to the next slide, please. So TFAP, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, what that means is it's perishable and non-perishable foods that is distributed out into the community, and this is distributed based off of the number of people each partner agency serves. So we'll allocate that out to them. Then there's the Commodity Supplemental Food Program, which is the Senior Citizen Program. Then the CACFP, the Child and Adult Food Care Program, those are prepared meals. And then the food distribution on Indian reservations, I have no experience with this. We don't have, in our network, we don't have any federally recognized Indian reservations in our area, so I have no experience with this. And then disaster assistance. Through COVID, there was an abundance of food available through the USDA for disaster assistance, and that funding was available from the COVID funds was available through spring of 2025. So when that went away, that greatly decreased the amount of food available to food banks. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is a topic that's very near and dear to my heart right here. USDA food cuts. I'm going to say, do not go to the USDA website. What you are going to see there is not accurate to what is actually happening within the USDA cuts. There is a lot of positives that they're talking about, a lot of positive press releases, but I am going to tell you what is actually happening with USDA food cuts. There's been a 30% cut in the emergency food program. We're struggling to get people the food that they need right now because of this. $1 billion canceled from programs that allow schools to purchase from local farmers. So let's think about what that's doing. Obviously, kids don't have food available. They don't have fresh produce available. But let's think about what that's doing to our economy as well. All of those farmers that had an outlet to sell their produce don't have that anymore. And let's think about the impact that that's going to have on agriculture for the next 30, 50 years in this country, because a lot of those farmers are going to go out of business. During COVID, the Biden administration did step in because when schools were closed, schools that weren't buying, they weren't feeding anymore, so the farmers didn't have outlets. So Biden did step in with a trade mitigation program where we were buying from those farmers, so there was a lot of additional USDA food available, and that was just so those farmers would not be going out of business and basically decimating our farms for the next 50 years. So $500 million was cut. This falls under that $1 billion. $500 million was cut from the local food purchasing assistance program. $660 million was cut from that local food for schools. So that's that $1 billion that was cut. $6.2 billion was cut out of SNAP benefits. And this isn't just the SNAP benefits that were being distributed to people. This is childhood hunger programs, Backpack Buddy, School Market, Kids Cafe, school pantries. All of those things are funded by the USDA. And all of that, it didn't just get cut, it got eradicated and eliminated. It's gone. So if food banks are still running Backpack Buddy programs, they are finding ways to support it themselves. We lost an entire department. We had a nutrition department, and that nutrition department was funded by SNAP education. And that's gone. So we had the resources to cover that. But when I think of food banks that don't have the same kind of resources, it's gone. So when you look at food insecure people who are, they're going to have a higher incidence rate of diabetes, of stroke, of heart attack. And we're trying to get out into the community and educate, and that's being funded through SNAP-Ed, and that's gone. All of that is gone. And then there was $200 million cut from the WIC program. So what has happened in our current administration is causing people to go hungry. And especially in a state where food banks are not able to serve the way they need to be anyway.
I have a question about the last item. The disaster assistance, do you know if USD would have helped out in western North Carolina and East Tennessee during Hurricane Helene? I know a lot of the stores got flooded.
They did not. And I know that other food banks step up and send food in those times. We are a network, and we kind of have geographic meeting places to get food into places like that. I can't answer that with certainty, but I don't know of any USDA funding that was allocated for that particular disaster. He asked if the USDA food would support during Helene and other natural disasters. I really believe that is supposed to be supported through FEMA, but I'm not sure if I'm right about that, to be honest with you. So, next slide, please. I want to talk about serving. We refer to food insecure people as neighbors. That's the terminology that we always use. Serving with dignity. We don't want people to feel like because they don't have money to buy food that they shouldn't have choice. So we have about 90% of our partner agencies that are choice pantries, meaning they get to go in, get a shopping cart, and walk through there with their family, choose what their family will eat. We don't want people to feel like you have to take what I give you because that's all that's available to you. So we really try to give people choice. There's so much more dignity in choice. And then we have food lockers. I'll show you a picture of the food lockers that we have available a little bit later. Then more accessible pantry hours, that's a barrier to getting people food. If you only offer them food during a time where they would be at work, what's the purpose of that? So we try to serve on Saturdays. We try to serve in the afternoon because people who are food insecure, they're not unemployed. There are a lot of working poor people out there, so offering them better pantry hours. And then we also have some order ahead options. So go to the next slide, please. So this is a picture of our food lockers. So these are very similar to Amazon lockers. There's an order ahead platform. They go online, they order their food, and they can pick these up when the pantry closes. You see right in the center right there is a computer, and they have a QR code, and they scan that QR code. These are refrigerated, and once they scan their QR code, the food lockers open and they can get their food. They're pretty cool. Thank you to our grant writer, Kelly, because those are about $100,000 a piece, and we have 3 sets of those in Horry County. They're pretty cool. Let's go to the next slide, please. So this is a choice pantry, and I don't know if you can see that or not, but the majority of that food is Food Lion food. So I'm going to give you a guess who sponsored this choice pantry. That is something that Food Lion offers. Every year they do pantry makeovers, but that's a choice pantry. This pantry also has shopping carts. available, and they get to walk through there. And it provides a family with an actual grocery shopping experience. You know, if you think of the impact of food insecurity on children, you know, they may not see that if they're walking into a place like that for food. They might just feel like they're going into a grocery store.
Does South Carolina have any association with hunting groups, like for deer hunting? I know in Virginia, they raise funds for the processing.
Yes.
But the animals were donated. Is there anything like that in West Virginia?
I don't know about, so hunting groups in West Virginia providing food to food banks. I don't know the answer to that. I would have to reach out to your food bank here, but I will tell you that is acceptable. The only caveat to taking food, it has to have it has to have labels. Everything has to be labeled with ingredients. Yes. No. USDA has to be processed by a USDA facility. But we are allowed to take, if it's from a reputable processor, and it comes in labeled and everything, we are allowed to take that and we are allowed to distribute that. So I would imagine that that is the same in West Virginia. So next slide, please. So this is one of our delivery trucks that was donated by Publix. Another barrier to getting people food is pavement. So if you can't drive down a road and unload a truck there, you can't take food there. So this truck, which is kind of similar to what a beer truck looks like, it's got all the roll-up doors all the way around, that's where we go into really rural areas. I just started a really cool distribution at the Waccamaw Indian Tribe, which is in Aner. It's in Horry County, where Myrtle Beach is. But I've been working with the Waccamaw Tribe for about 5 years and couldn't do a distribution out there because they don't have any pavement. So we're able to do that now with this truck. And when you think of barriers to getting people food, pavement is one of those things, but internet is another major one, because partner agencies are ordering their food online. We'll accept phone calls, things like that, but internet is a barrier to getting people food. And one thing that I will say about partner agencies, that's probably the favorite part of my job, because I get paid to do what I do every day. And I feel like they're generous with me, and I did say what I get to do. I love what I get to do every day. I feel like it was my calling, it was what I was meant to do, and my 27 years working in the grocery business that were really miserable kind of made me uniquely qualified to do what I do. Getting to deal with the people at partner agencies are what I love to do, because most of those people, 90% of those people, are volunteering because they care about their community. And internet might be foreign to them in general. So I get orders emailed to me with the entire order in the subject line of the email from Miss Martha that's down in the Dunbar community, because that's the best she knows how to do. And my job is to be patient with her and to also know that when I call her, if I have a warehouse full of food that I need to distribute and it's perishable and I need it to go like that when I send her 12,000 pounds of food, I'm not asking her for a small favor. You know, I am asking her to assemble her volunteers. I am asking her to get the word out into her community. I'm not asking small favors. So we call them partner agencies because it is a partnership. And those are the people that I love to deal with, and those are the people that after I send that truck to them, they're going to call every extension in our office, because I can hear the phone ring, and my phone will ring first, and every extension, them calling and thanking us for sending that to their community. And that's what you have in West Virginia as well. You know, I don't I don't know them personally, but I can tell you that that's the kind of people it takes to do what they're doing, and they're volunteering out of the kindness of their heart because they care about their community. And this is just sort of our impact. If you want to go to the next slide, this is our 2025 impact. We distributed 45.8 million pounds, so 38 million meals, 17.5 million pounds of produce. So we have a produce initiative at the food bank that I work for. We want to ensure that what we distribute at least 30% produce every year, because as I said earlier, food insecure people have a higher incidence rates for lots of health issues. So we try to make sure that we're providing fresh produce on a regular basis. And then we rescued that 15 million pounds from retailers last year as well. And then the other thing that is available, it's available through Feeding America, but there's additional platforms to be purchased for equitable access to food. We have the ability to pull census tract by census tract and see how many food insecure people are in each census tract. So that's mapping that we use. It looks like the Facing Hunger Food Bank is using it a little bit. I don't think Mountaineer Food Bank is using it. But I think with such a low meals per person in need, they can just kind of throw some food out there, and it's going to go to the right places right now. They don't have to worry about over-serving a particular area and underserving another. I think they're just trying to get the food out. But we use the mapping religiously. That's how I make all of my decisions. And if you are interested in that mapping is available at lowcountryfoodbank.org. And then how you can help. Donate your time, donate your money. And like I said, for monetary donations, I would always urge that you put you target that to a specific community, or even target a specific item that you'd like to be purchased. So our ultimate goal, the path to fighting hunger, does not lie in simply expanding output, but in improving people-focused outcomes and giving our neighbors greater access to healthy foods.
She didn't think she was going to have 15 minutes of stuff worth to say.
Let's go ahead and sing our last song for all. May I Be Light. We're going to sing it 3 times. The lyrics will be on the monitor.
And this is from our new virtual hymnal. Next Sunday after church, anyone who wants to get into it needs to bring a device that takes you to the internet, and I can get you all hooked up with the password, and you can look at the virtual hymnal. Okay, this first one we're going to go over first and teach you. May I be light in you, may you be light in me, into our hearts, into our souls, let love abide and breathe. May I be light in you, may I be love in me, among this place, out to the world for all time. May I be light in you, may you be light in me, into our hearts, into our souls, let love abide. May I be love in you, may you be love in me, from this place out to the world for all time. That was 3, right? Did we do that 3?
Please be seated for our closing words, which today are Go in Peace, Seeking Justice by Jim McGaw. When I say go in peace, I don't mean go in mindless oblivion. When I say go in peace, I don't mean go without challenging yourselves or others. When I say go in peace, I don't mean go in utter ease and comfort. When I say go in peace, I mean go in peace seeking justice. I mean go in peace committed to equal rights and opportunities for all. When I say go in peace, I mean go in the peace that is created when, together, we build communities of true solidarity, deep compassion, and fierce, unrelenting love. Go in peace.
Hold on, hold on, my dear ones, here comes the dawn. Hold on, hold